Welcome to GoldBoys Live, presented by Pickett Sports. Sleeper picks, packed house today. Brad, Brian, and Josh. We are breaking down the NFL card for this week, maybe some NBA if you guys have plays there. But we got to start with Thursday night. I don't even know where to start. A lot happened. The game itself wasn't great. There's a lot of ramifications that are fascinating. Lamar gets hurt, then he's back, then Burrow's out, and he's not. I don't even know where to start. Brad, I guess I'll just start with you. What's your big takeaway going forward? Like, what is the betting implication of what we saw last night?
Man, I feel like I have to just be like pro Ravens, right? Like Lamar getting hurt is not as impactful as Burrow getting hurt. Like Burrow getting hurt is like death to that team, but we've seen Tyler Huntley do okay, and we get another year of him. And then he looked like Lamar wasn't as hurt as Burrow. Like Burrow dropped the F-bomb and threw a helmet on the field. Tough loss for the Bengals, man. Like not losing the game, but like losing the game and losing your quarterback. Like they stink at prime time. We know that, but now they lose a divisional game as well. Oh man, that's brutal.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that watching the game, even the announcers were saying it too, with Mark Andrews went down, they were saying, yeah, like if he's even out for the year, it's not as big as an impact as it would be last year. And I was like, yeah, but let's not discredit that it's still a huge loss for that team. But I get that what they were saying, he has more weapons than usual. It was just a weird statement for like to hear Al Michaels be saying things like, yeah, like it's not as bad as it could have been when they needed him more. So that was interesting. But yeah, that offense is gonna it just sucks. I'm a big fan of Mark Andrews as well as a player. I think he works so well in that offense. It'll be interesting to see how they adjust things because they love to work the middle of the field. And I guess I have to see if Likely can do that.
Did you have some money on Mark Andrews?
Yeah, we don't go into that.
Right.
Josh, you were late. I was telling them that the play before he got hurt, I fat fingered his touchdown. Like I meant to do 0.15, like what is it, 0.15 unit, and I actually did 1.5 because I was trying to get in live fast.
Oh, I did miss that story
because it was it locks. So I was trying to like go fast, and
I'm sure the books will understand. You should just explain.
Yeah, of course. If I just write them a nice, notarized letter, they'll get back to me and refund.
Exactly. That. Damn. Yeah, it's so weird to hear people say that Joe Burrow is that much more important to his team than Lamar is to his team. I think like if the conversation is like who can win the division in the situation they're in.
Lamar's fine. Lamar didn't miss a play. So was that said? I missed that comment.
Well, no, I'm just saying like I thought that like,
I said that.
Okay. Yeah, not that he's like gonna miss moving forward. I think Brad was just saying in general, like to exemplify the importance of Joe Burrow. He was saying like that's how important he is. And we don't need, that's super hypothetical, so we don't need to necessarily get into it. But like, if you're talking about the ceiling for the Ravens being the Super Bowl, like, look, this is the first moment in time that we're like, oh shit, that's right, Lamar gets hurt all the time. I feel like we haven't talked about that since week 1, and now we're at the point of the season when Lamar gets hurt again. It's just something to keep an eye on. But I don't know if that does anything for like the Steelers bets or something like that.
I think it does because the Steelers now get to play not only, I mean, how lucky can one team get? They play DTR this week and they probably get Browning next week. That's huge. And I mean, you're going to take probably the Browns out of the mix of being like an 11-12 win team. Now, since he's not going to get there, there's so many moving parts there. I think Cincy's season's pretty much over. I
feel bad. I know Tone Stamp's not here today, so I'm not going to give him a rough time. But I feel bad because he kind of nailed it on the head when he was saying that he's not super worried after 2 or 3 weeks and they're going to come back and they look better. And he was correct for 2 or 3 weeks there, and then now it's all back in the shitter.
Yep, it's an interesting roller coaster where those miss the playoff bets are great, then they're dead, then they're great again. To me, again, I think there's so many betting implications. To me, Ravens to win the division still minus 175 is pretty good at DraftKings. I bet the Chiefs plus 475 to win the Super Bowl. I think they might have been the big winners last night because the Ravens, like Lamar's fine, but they did lose Andrews for the year, and like that's going to probably take them out of the mix. That's probably going to hurt them for being a 1 seed. So the Chiefs, like these teams just keep falling. The Bengals were a contender. They're falling. The Ravens aren't going to have Andrews. The Chiefs are sitting pretty where they haven't played in a couple weeks, and they're going to, this is one you just bet it at basically 5-1 plus 475. You forget about it until January, and you wake up and they're in January and they're in the AFC title game at home probably. So I would bet that. I think that's a good price. Whether they win the Super Bowl or not, I don't know. I just think that's a good number, and there's not a lot of value with these Super Bowl numbers. The other thing, too, I think it brings a lot of these teams back in the mix because now maybe the Bills can get in the playoffs with 9 wins because AFC teams are flying. Maybe teams like the Texans, teams like even the Jets or the Raiders or the Colts, it sort of lowers the bar for what it takes to make the playoffs. maybe the Broncos. I
And-
don't know. It makes things so fascinating. Like the game itself wasn't good, but there's so many moving parts
So
in terms of the
Both
impact.
of the go ahead, Brian.
No, I was gonna say it kind of is interesting because I think on the show we always talk about how I think one of the arguments people always say is like, oh, it's a team sport. Oh, like the quarterback gets too much blame. The quarterback this, quarterback like it's not all them. Have you realized how bad teams look when they have a quarterback
Yes,
like
great
DeVito for
point.
the Giants or Brown? Like, isn't it kind of funny how it's never the quarterback's fault if the team loses? But then look at the quarterbacks that come
Yeah.
in, and if you can't move the football,
It's
the
such a good
Bengals like
point.
they basically look like they didn't even they looked like they weren't on the same team. They were missing one player yesterday, and they looked like they were like a little league, like a high school football team. Like they couldn't move the football. It's just kind of crazy to think about.
They're also missing Higgins. Like
I get that, but I'm saying
healthy.
they were missing Higgins last week too, the week before, so he's missing a lot of time. I'm
Last
just
week,
saying, I'm just saying it is crazy that you see like that drop off, and then it's like, oh wow, this team looks like they can't even score a point, let alone be competitive.
Yep,
Yeah.
I totally agree. It's why when you're watching games and they're like, oh man, they call these soft roughing the passer quarterbacks, and I don't like a lot of them either. And some of them can't be avoided, but it's like there's a reason they protect them because the games kind of stink when you don't have the quarterbacks. Like when Brown.
My only rule with that is I just don't like it when it's a sack. Like if it's a sack, it's a sack.
I know.
I know. Those are the ones I don't like. It's just like
not,
when he's not even throwing the football, and it's like, all right.
Do you guys have a bet based on what happened last night? Anything Ravens to win the division? Have you guys added anything? Chiefs to win the Super Bowl? Anything?
I haven't added anything, but man, if you wanted the Bills to bet to make the playoffs before yesterday, you're getting like plus 250. The line's down to plus 180, and Texans are down from plus 110 to minus 125.
Yeah, that's fascinating. What are the Steelers? Did they move the Steeler number?
I was just about to check the Steelers because I have them plus 125.
Steelers,
they're minus
Steelers
170.
Steelers
damn
moved,
it.
Yeah.
And the Steelers might have been moved by like bets just as much as like the line's trying to get it. Like the
honestly,
I think their games they got 2 games with the Bengals. If there's 2 games with no Burrow, like not only are these teams weaker, but now your games are.
And they already have the division advantage in terms of like games against or whatever. They already have a plus situation there with like the division wins, so that would help them a lot. Damn, that sucks. I was really hoping.
Oh yeah, because they beat the Browns.
Yeah.
So what are they 2-0 in the division? That's probably
Did they say what Burrow's injury was? Like
that's the other thing.
Broken or was it?
It was a writ. No,
you're looking into it, aren't they?
That's the other thing. Like this wasn't reported, and this league, like the NFL, all these leagues, they take money for betting. Like, how is he not on the
our guy JD? Our guy JD
you saw
made that. Do you guys see that post he made? Yeah, with the little wrist thing.
Yeah,
that's they're gonna get in trouble, right? They're gonna get investigated. There's no way they're gonna get away scot free. It's gonna be some weird, stupid ass like
they will probably lose
a
pick, but a fine or something. I would think a fine. A pick would be harsh, even if it's a 6th rounder. But they should get something. Like, that's not right. That's really not right.
But to our point earlier, they beat the Ravens too, the Steelers. So that's what I'm saying.
What 2-0 in the division?
Ravens. Yeah. So if they can just get 4 wins, if you factor if they don't have Burrow, like, that puts them in a close division race. Those division wins are so big, so that'd be helpful for them. I'm actually a little sad they moved it to minus 170. I would have added more to it, but that is just a terrible line movement there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean it's a proper adjustment though. I mean I don't know.
No, I agree. I just hope sometimes you can get like a little bit better.
Do you guys, are you guys buying the Chiefs one plus 475? Is that? Let
me ask you, what do you guys think of the Chiefs? What do you think of that game this weekend? And like, I mean, I know weather probably comes into play, but I think it's worth talking about everything you're asking about the Chiefs through the lens of like, well, what do you think about this week?
I mean, look, you've said this before. It's become a popular thing where it's just, hey, it's Mahomes, it's under a field goal, you just take them, and if you lose, you lose. That's one where. I like the Chiefs here. I like the Chiefs. I don't know.
I'm starting to get a lot of love on the Eagles, like because people are throwing the narrative in there of like Hurts has had the confetti on his back screen since whatever. Like
the Eagles are a really good team too. I'm trying to check my futures bets right now to see which team I have.
Yeah, to your point though, Will, if you're asking us if we think that the Chiefs Super Bowl is a bad bet, I think it's really hard to ever argue against that. I mean, I think every single year they're the team that you would probably want to have in your back pocket. Yeah,
especially that 1 seed is so important. If the Ravens aren't going to have Andrews, can they really get the 1 without him? And their schedule's not that easy going forward. I don't know. I think that's a good bet. I think they'll probably be in the conference championship like they always are. And once they're there, like you're in good shape, or you can hedge, you can take the points or do whatever you want with it.
I feel like you're always hungrier when you're not coming off of a Super Bowl. Obviously, it seems easy to say that. There is like a not that unrealistic possibility of like Taylor Swift breaks up with Travis. I don't, you know what I mean? Like Travis.
We're not capping in related.
Governor's dad, and now there's a contract. I don't know. Like there's a lot of drama.
My biggest worry with the game like this, as you know, the Eagles fan in the room, is Andy Reid has been historically amazing off the bye. 27 and 4 in his career off the bye week. It's one of those things where a pattern becomes like legit after that many years. He has always got the team ready after a bye week, which you give him a bye week plus an extra day. That's my life thing. Is it's a familiar team they're going to face. They get the extra rest. It's gonna be a great game either way. I do think it might come down to the.
Well, so is it?
I don't have any bets on anyone to win the Super Bowl outside of the Jets. Wow, just realized
it's supposed to dump this week, right? Or in Kansas City, like dump snow.
I think it's the weather's supposed to be terrible. Yeah, so that
doesn't that.
I know Will has good CLV and is under because it's at 45.5 now. So
that was just just trying to get ahead of the number there. You guys want to get into anything else you like for NFL? Anything else that you can? I guess we'll just go NFL now. And you guys, if you have NBA players or whatever, first night we.
I have a player prop that I gave out yesterday for the NFL. It's the first time I've actually gone a unit and a half on a play, and it kind of relates to how you're talking about the Browns with DTR back in there. I took David Njoku over 30.5 receiving yards pretty heavily. I think we watched. I made that comment about these young quarterbacks. Young quarterbacks like to get easy completions, and he had 3 picks that first start he had. He only threw for 120 yards, but 46 of them went to Njoku. I just think in this game against the Steelers, where it's going to be close throughout, you have to imagine Robinson just feeds off his tight end, and they don't really extend the field too long down the field. So I do think 30.5 is a really short line.
I dig that.
Yeah.
Hello last week.
He's getting a 28% target share last 4 weeks. He's been getting fed the ball.
Yeah.
I went with Quentin Johnston, 60 plus receiving yards at plus 280, and then 70 plus receiving yards at plus 700. I mean, plus 400, excuse me.
Okay. I am not buying the Giants. I know. I think that line got moved down, right? Like Sharps just slammed the Giants from like 10.5, but I don't know,
man. This could be their mat. This could be their week.
Wow. See an 8.5.
How can I not just bet the Chargers money line? I don't normally lay that kind of juice on the road team, but like I just think that the Packers.
Wait. You're getting away from the game we were just talking about.
Yeah, man. I don't like talking about the cow.
Well, I was like going somewhere with it.
I thought you. I thought you were done.
I want to hear all about. I want to hear all about.
Is anybody not going to bet on that? And why are we not teasing it down to 2.5?
Nope, it's a good.
I was like, wait, I'm so confused now.
What was your angle, Josh? Tease it?
Yeah, I mean, if it's why are they letting it stay at 8.5? Basically, just because the money just keeps coming in on them.
I guess
to cover.
I guess that's certainly.
I just can't get down with it. I just feel like DeVito's gonna have so much pressure in his face, like. That defensive line, even though trading away their guys, is still getting a ton of pressure on the quarterback.
Yeah, I was going to look for. I'm saying the same thing as you, Brad. I'm saying like, I would take the Commanders at 8.5. I would. Why are they letting us tease it down to under 3? Like, why are they leaving it at 8.5? You know,
the
easiest tease of the week. I got Sam Howell over 240 passing yards too. So
tease them with the Chargers.
Okay, all right, Chargers bet.
Someone saw a tweet saying that Kelsey and the Swifts' parents are meeting at the game. 10 flags for in favor of the Chiefs. I don't know. If the Kelsey family is going to be having split jerseys, they always go with the split jerseys. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, I was going to say FanDuel has it at 9.5 for that Giants game, which almost makes me kind of like it more because I trust FanDuel's lines a lot more than some of these DraftKings and MGM. So they have it at 9.5. So
what do you mean by trust them more?
I always think that I always consider FanDuel's lines a little bit sharper than some of the other books. I just think they're a lot better at what they do. And when I got a chance to like meet, because I used to have friends that worked at FanDuel, and they're I know everyone has the same thing, but they are just very good with how they monitor their sharps and their lines. So if they're the only book that has 9.5 compared to everybody else with 8.5, I tend to lean to their number more than some of the other books I'm seeing.
Yeah, and Kay Adams is sharp. She knows what she's doing over there at FanDuel. Anything else you guys like sidewise, total wise? I mean, man, we're seeing 32.5, 33 for Steelers Browns total. A lot of high lines, a lot of high spreads. I know some people out there probably going to just money line a lot of these big favorites. Like what could go wrong?
Yeah.
49ers, the Lions, the Commanders, the Cowboys, the Dolphins. You just throw 3 or 4 of those together in terms of a money line. Like who breaks that up? Which big favorite of those does not win?
Yeah.
Cowboys, because I bet on them.
that's what I said though, wasn't that? Well, like honestly, I think when we talked about this the other day, I said Cowboys were the ones.
Yeah, Cowboys are the most vulnerable on the road.
Week. I don't trust them this week. I don't know why. I just never.
I teased them.
Maybe it's the road too, but
I teased them, and then I'm going to play them 5+ sacks in the game. Yep. It's not out yet, but wait, I imagine 5+ sacks in the game is going to be plus 115. Like it's normally like way better. Yeah. It's going to be gross, but I'm going to play it. I think I just can't trust Bryce Young against this Cowboys pass rush.
Yep.
Dude, we've been doing the show for a few months. We finally got someone to subscribe to us. So I just want to give a shout out to the chat there. We have
nice.
A tier 1 subscription. Yeah, I think it's Brad's burner. I think it's, but at the same time, it's still nice.
He has multiple.
Yeah, I've noticed our whole comment section is just Brad on his iPad, his Mac, and his computer to the side.
I barely have a computer, just FYI. I'm like, okay, if you want to know my setup right now, it's my laptop on top of a diaper box just to prop it up right now.
It's getting pretty defensive. I don't know.
We're building a computer.
He's getting really defensive.
My technology
we're off the rails anyway. Can we talk about Clarissa Thompson for like 2 minutes?
You can. Go for it.
All right, I have 1 point. We can move off of it. Do you think the journalists who are losing their mind right now watch the movie Spotlight and go, "That's what I do. That's the same shit that I'm doing."
I've never seen it.
It's about the Boston Globe taking down the church for like, you know what I mean? Like in Boston for messing with kids. Like the point is like they're like, relax. Like, yes, we all already knew this like awful kept secret that like when, you know what I mean, when Mike McCarthy comes out and is just like saying nothing, we don't care either. So why do we? Can we chill out a little bit? I don't know.
It makes a lot of sense. I don't want to get too into it, but it makes a lot of sense because every single interview you see it was like, yeah, they mentioned they got to get to the quarterback more and you got to limit the turnovers. It's like,
that's
all right,
crazy,
cool.
That's what they were saying earlier on the broadcast, and so now
it's like that's crazy because that's
I mean,
exactly
I get
a 2-year-old can assess that.
That's all I want to say.
Yeah. I actually want to hone it back in a little bit because we're talking about the Giants game for so long. Will, I shoot this question to you. The number again, 160.5 for DeVito. Do you just bet the unders there? Like,
yes,
they can't. He hasn't like his 120 yards last week is only because he had that one drive where like that one play happened to happen. Like they didn't throw the ball at all. He didn't move the ball well.
There's always a chance they pull him.
If
Washington's
had
a good defense,
wide receiver that could beat another cornerback on like any route, then maybe you'd be a little bit worried.
164.5 is a line. That's. I just feel like I almost might not even post it.
31.5 longest completion too. Ooh.
Who's gonna catch a pass? Those are always so smart until you see the one like Saquon broken tackle and you're like, fuck.
Yeah, I would go under there though.
Right,
too.
that's how it happens. Right, Saquon does inhumane stuff and then gets his
passing completions. Is it 17.5? Is he gonna complete 18 passes?
Saquon's
gonna throw 18 passes.
Receiving bet here, shouldn't he?
Say that again, Josh.
Mm-hmm.
Saquon's receiving props
might be the way to go.
Pretty nice.
What's it at?
That might be
I would just take
17.5 yards.
How many?
I was saying DeVito's completions was 17.5. Oh, okay. Like for him to complete 18 passes. Saquon's receiving receptions at 3.5. And his yards are 17.5 either way. So you were correct.
Oh, I love 17.5.
How about just catches? Because we don't even care what he does after he catches.
We don't care about
you can get over 3.5 or plus 135 on Bet365.
Yeah.
Shout you out, pick it.
I agree with Will there because I do not want to have to. I do not want to have to rely on this offense to move the football.
Right.
Like give me some negative 3-yard screen passes.
Yeah, but Saquon Barkley hasn't hit this number in the last 4 games. Like
the receptions.
Yeah.
What about the yards?
1 against Dallas, and then 3 against Washington, Jets, and Raiders. Yards. Let's see.
Yeah, I guess the result is the same. If you stack a box, it's just as effective as stopping a runner from catching the ball in the backfield.
Right.
And it doesn't help when your quarterback can throw the ball 3 or more yards, and that's about it.
And it doesn't help when every single eyeball is staring at Saquon Barkley.
That's it. The attention on him. We're like, if we know that's the game plan, they know that's the game plan.
Yeah.
I agree. I would agree.
Yeah, I'm not betting that.
And then Clarissa Thompson comes in and she's like, I talked to the Ron Rivera. And they said that the game plan is to stop Saquon Barkley. It's like, thanks, Clarissa. Back to you in the booth.
Yo, that's gonna start trending on Twitter. So I talked to Clarissa Thompson, and
well, somebody tweeted out yesterday that Burrow was going to have his hand amputated, according to the report of Clarissa Thompson. So, I mean, it's funny. It is funny. I mean, look, you leave yourself up for it. But the problem is people, like anyone that's been in the media, like, oh, the media just makes stuff up, and then when you admit to start making stuff up, like,
yeah,
I don't know why she did it. I don't know what was the point? What's the point? Yeah, I didn't get what.
But what if I came on this show and was like, yo, sometimes the stats don't really like back up my bet, so I just come on here and make them up.
Right.
Well, you do that. Yeah, we all know that.
Yeah. What if I did that? Yeah, that'd be crazy.
Anything else? NBA, college, NFL, anything else you guys like here?
NBA stuff.
Yeah, I'll give out a play for tonight. I'll give it a play for tonight in college. I'm gonna go with Travis Hunter. I'm trying before I say the actual line, I want to make sure it's not stale. Travis Hunter over 61.5 receiving yards. Yes, it's not stale. Okay. Travis Hunter over 61.5 receiving yards. Colorado wide receiver against Washington State. He's hit this in every game. He's been healthy. He hasn't played much, but I think it's 4 out of 6.
Yeah, I like that.
All right. That's.
Oh wait, let me give out my ladder as promised. I said I was going to give out a ladder for NHL.
Sure.
This is Buffalo Sabres at Winnipeg Jets. I'm not going to play his base because when he hits the base, he freaking screams over like 7 shots on target. I'm going Kyle O'Connor, 5+ shots on goal at +175, and then 6+ shots on goal +350 against Buffalo team just allows crap ton of shots on target.
How about the ass whooping OKC gave the Warriors last night?
Oh yeah,
that was
I had a good amount of money on that.
Wait, I appreciate the Warriors so much for not pulling Josh Giddey. I just kept live betting his points, and then it gets to the point where he takes a shot and scores. I need 2 more to hit the final one, and they call a timeout, and I was like, oh no, I'm toast. And then even the announcer goes, they're taking him out. They're taking out their starters, and I was like, F, because I had lost some other bets in the day. Like that was like my money back. And I was like, oh, this sucks. And he scores on that next possession. He stays in the game. And I was like,
yeah, that OKC game was frustrating because I had Chet stocks. Yeah, I need 1 point. And I was only mad because he was like the entire starting lineup of OKC finished out the game. Like they all checked back in with like 6 minutes left. And I was like, oh, where's Chet? Oh shit! I guess he's the only one not returning.
Wait, I didn't get that either. You made a great point. Like, why didn't he continue to post up Chris Paul? Because he kept having Chris Paul in the post.
No, he had out of 4. I was watching the game. I watched the film this morning. He had 4 post ups with Chris Paul, and all of them were passing out.
I saw that. And you said I didn't notice it until you said something, and I was like,
no, 7-2 passing out on Chris Paul, and like I get Chris Paul's a great defender, but you got to be able in this league to post up the guard in front of you, like that. That's why you get
I mean,
that's why. Like that's why you get the looks inside. That's why your team is putting in the spin cycle there. Like
he was still 15 feet. He's not going to back Chris Paul down from 15 feet away. Chris Paul's center of gravity. Plus, he has like 4 kids. He's way stronger than Chet Holmgren.
Yeah,
like,
you gotta get that float.
I don't know, man. I get what you're saying, but real quick, I'll just throw these 3 bets out. I don't know if anybody wants to talk about anything, but the Knicks over 115.5 team total. I love that bet. That's even money, and they're playing the Wizards.
How much was it?
The Knicks team total over 115.5. Okay. The Wizards have allowed one team to score less than 115 points on them when they played at home, and that was the Grizzlies. They scored 114, and that's probably the worst offensive team in the league. Is the Grizzlies. And then
I'm seeing 117.5 at DK.
Oh, it just rose up. I got it at minus 125. What's it at for 117?
Minus 115. Look around here. Game 117 at Rivers. Would you still play it at 117?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, they should be good for 121 was their projection. That's why I hit it so hard at 115.5. But
right, what else you like?
But yeah, then the
Josh,
other thing.
Ask you in this game, what player props do you like for points in that game?
So the scary thing about that game is like it's definitely got blowout potential. Like the points for against Washington come from down low. Jay Randall, I got for a double-double, but I parlayed that with a Giannis double-double and a Jokic double-double. Honestly, every single bet you make from now on should just include a Joker double-double in it as well. Like, there's no reason not to. It's the easiest bet in the world. He's done it every game. But
I'll take you one there, Josh, and I raise you this. I did plus 560 with one of my ESPN free bets. Julius Randle double-double, Trae Young, and DeAndre Ayton. All great matchups for those.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
And I got plus 560.
Yeah.
I don't hate that. You did a double-double parlay today too?
Yeah, isn't that funny?
That's awesome.
Yeah. I think I'm going to bet Trae Young even money as a straight. I got it earlier. I do think he's been diming the hell out of the ball. And Sixers, he's going to get matched up a lot with D Melt and some of these other guys that
I like Melton 12.5 points in that game because he's going to be out there to guard Trae for minutes.
Do we think that Joel Embiid plays? Because this is a pick'em line, and
I thought he was declared in.
No, he's still questionable.
He's still questionable. Yeah. Okay.
Joel Embiid is always a guy that's going to be questionable, and then he usually plays like 90% of the time. But a pick'em line here that's -1 for either side is kind of scaring me because if he was in, the Sixers really a pick'em against the Hawks with a healthy Joel Embiid? I don't know. That's a little scary, a little sketchy of a line.
It is, yeah. I thought he was in, but I still stayed away from that game because I wasn't sure. But the D-Melt 12.5 points isn't even really relying on Embiid. It's helpful.
I know. I get that. I'm saying mostly for me. I'm just saying
Trae,
I would love Embiid to not play if I'm trying to get Trae Young dimes to the potato down low of Clint Capella.
Yep. One other game. Well, I'll do one more prop real quick, and then the game. But the other prop I really like is Osar tonight. I'm going back to. I love Osar Thompson so much on the Pistons.
He's fun.
What are you taking?
Questionable. Duran's out. 22.5 points and rebounds for him. Both those guys are out. If Wiseman plays, beef stew. There's no one else playing down low nearly as much as Osar. His numbers, he's hit this in all but 3 games this season, and whenever Duran's been out, he's hit this in all 4 of those games. So Cleveland can't guard the small forward position anymore. I bet they miss Cedi Osman out in San Antonio right now. Laugh all you want, but Max Strus isn't guarding anybody. And then the side, this opened at 4.5 for the Houston Rockets, plus 4.5 against the Clippers. It is 7.5 points now. What in the world am I missing? Like, this is first of all, they're the 4th best team in the league.
Wait, which game is this?
The Rockets and the Clippers.
Yeah,
it's up to 8 now.
Who's betting?
Wow, is somebody out for the Rockets? Is Olajuwon out? Who's out?
Yeah, I think
Olajuwon out.
Goon is better than every player on that team.
Is it because Westbrook is going on? Is Westbrook going to be like the key to success? Is he being the 6th man of the year again?
Double revenge game. Westbrook and Harden. So double revenge.
No. If the revenge is anywhere, it's in Houston.
Yes,
they have the revenge narrative. Fuck these dudes.
Yeah.
They're one of the best teams. Like Ime Udoka should win Coach of the Year right now. He should be.
Yeah, as long as he can keep his. Well, we're not going to go there, but.
His clipboard? What, he loses his clipboard? Is what?
He's got to keep his pencil in the hole.
It's not the clipboard, it's the pen. Yeah,
that's the pencil. Keep the pencil in the clipboard.
Yeah. No, he's a good coach. He's a very good coach. We still never found out what happened there. Like, did we?
Not really. No. It's Clifton Thompson has a story on it.
It wasn't like there's nothing illegal. It was like it was cheating on Nia Long, which was in the
right.
Yeah.
Right. So. Hey, the flesh is weak. Yeah. But I guess it's it's interesting because I don't know. It's a decision. Like it was somebody in the organization, so you just question like the decision making. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? But I don't know. I wonder if the Celtics regret it, where you could have just let it blown over, and I don't know.
Give him that Celtics team right now, and they're probably 82-0, right?
Like if it was Tatum who did that, they're not going to just trade Tatum or get rid of Tatum.
Yeah.
Like it's I don't know, it's strange.
I think it's whack.
What do you got, Josh? You got something to say? Come on.
Nah, I just can't get Wander Franco out of my head now.
Wow, come on.
I don't know. He just popped up.
That's different. I mean, that's different. All right. Anything else before we bounce?
No, I'm Gucci.
Those are my 3 favorites.
All right.
The only thing I'll say is I'm waiting for the line to drop, but to get hopefully get better lines. But I do think this is the day that Domantas Sabonis gets like 15 rebounds, 16 rebounds against the Spurs. That should be a good look. I want to find like that line to come down a little bit because it's a little juiced.
LaMelo Ball is going to score 30 points tonight.
I think
there's that.
I think the only thing that would concern me about the Clippers is like at some point, like there's no must-win games in the regular season, but like you had a couple days off, you lost $1 million.
I mean, this is the in-season tournament. Like they better bring their A games. You know the Clippers care a lot about regular season play.
It's hilarious. It's hilarious. It's so they're so getting what they deserve. They actually looked a little better last night against a couple nights ago against Denver. But it's just hilarious.
It's weird that Harden came out and said that when it gets all put together, it's gonna be scary or whatnot. It's like I just feel like the comments like that only they burn you if you're wrong, and they don't really go your way if you're right. Like it's a kind of.
I always thought this though. Like I don't think it's as much of a big deal to the player as much as we make it. Like the media, the fans, the social media. Like when the player says it and it doesn't pan out, they're like, "What do you want me to say?" Yeah, right. But like the social media and the media's like, "Oh, what'd you do? Why would you say that? You put a target on your back."
Yep. Meanwhile, he's at the strip club. He's not on Twitter like reading all our jokes and stuff.
He's eating chicken wings off a stripper's booty.
On that note, there's no way to just top that one, so we're just going to end it on that.
How do you segue?
Josh, Brian, Brad, good show. Enjoy the weekend. Good luck with all your plays. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys in the chat. Pick it, Sleeper. We'll be back Monday, noon Eastern. See you guys then.